1871, 153 years ago, America was only 95 years old. Charles Dickens died a year before. Composer Tchaikovsky was just starting to write his ballet, Swan Lake, and Ulysses S. Grant was the President of the United States. There were only 37 states in the Union, and in 1871, only 39 million people lived here in America, unlike our population now, which is almost 10 times more. In 1871, a steak dinner would only cost 6 cents. A hotel room would be $1.50 for one night stay, and the Transcontinental Railroad was just completed 2 years before, which could carry passengers from the East Coast to the West Coast. Prior to the trains, a horse-drawn carriage was the only way to cross the country. America was just in its infancy and expanding quickly, and the West was finding its own identity. The gold rush started in the late 1840s and definitely influenced the influx of Chinese immigrants into the country. Even after the gold rush, there were still many Chinese who came to America to try to make a better life. In the 1870s, there were 63,000 Chinese in America, and 48,000 of them were in California. But because of the economic downturn, there was a feeling that the Chinese laborers were supposedly stealing jobs and depressing wages. Most of them came from southern China seeking a better life, and 90% of them were male, hoping to one day return to China as wealthy men. In 1870, 1/3 of the men in the California gold fields were Chinese. Here in Los Angeles, 1871, the general population was just under 6,000, with about 172 being Chinese living in Chinatown. Chinatown mainly consisted of just one street, called Calle de los Negros, the main street of Chinatown.
I am one of 172 Chinese here in LA, Chinatown.
I am one of 172 Chinese here in LA, Chinatown.
We are from China and came here to earn money to send back to my wife
or to my children.
We are old friends and have become laundrymen or household cooks. How long must I work in this LA before I make enough? I want to be my own man and have no fear. I am one of 172 Chinese here in LA.
They don't want us here, we look different too, we must live together.
I am one of 172 Chinese here in
They look
LA,
down on us, we are
Chinatown.
not even human in this big country. Work hard to make a life here in this strange land.
I will save and hope to dream of my family, leaving China
Work hard
to
so
be here,
parents
all
will be
of them
proud
with
of me.
our main street, Chinatown.
Not the best place to live in this Negro's alley.
There are crooks, robbers in this alley day and night. Saloon parlors open all the time. Then the gambling people come to bet to win, and then they lose. We sleep in a building called the Coronel Building. We cram into the rooms, as many as we can. This is our life in Chinatown.
This is our life in Chinatown.
We have chosen this way of life.
This way
This
of
must be the
life.
way to survive.
This way to
We will spend our
survive.
time herein and there and see it through. Italy, Chinatown.
I am Tong Chi Long. I am a doctor from Guangdong province. Like the other man, we all came from small villages from China and to make something out of our lives. They became cooks and laundrymen and also servants, but I'm the lucky one. My wife came with me. As I said, I'm a doctor. I am a Chinese herbalist. My wife and I live in Chinatown in a building called Coronel, on a street called the Calle de los Negros, where we all Chinese live. Not a very good place to be. Frogs and scoundrels fighting all the time. A horrible place to be. Always so much crime, and ladies of the night stroll up and down the street all the time. I am Tong Chi Long. I am a herbalist from Guangdong. I have Chinese patients and white ones too. I live a quiet life, me and my wife. I live here in China.
It started out as a typical autumn day in October 1871 here in Los Angeles. But on the evening of the 24th, an ongoing argument escalated between two rival Chinese associations over the kidnapping of a young Chinese woman. Gunshots were fired in the middle of Calle de los Negros, and a shootout among the rival gangs ensued. As a result, a policeman was wounded, and an interfering white citizen died. Innocent Chinese bystanders started taking cover in the Cornell building.
Crowd is getting larger and larger, and they're following me right now.
They're chasing us all of us Chinese, running for our lives.
Mexican and white people chasing us. I don't want to die like this.
Should I fight with hands and fists? Someone killed one half by showing one officer wounded, and they think it is us Chinese.
They think that we Chinese killed him, but he didn't me.
One of the Chinese gang members kidnapped one of the girls that belonged to another gang.
Those warning is might have shot and injured one of the two officers.
And another shot was fired and killed another white man.
They are gathering, coming at us with stakes, stone and ropes to hinder us
Run, or should I fight? Should I fight?
Incorrect rumors started gathering force saying that the Chinaman slaughtered a white civilian who was trying to help the police. The small number of rioters rapidly grew to 500 people, 8% of the population of Los Angeles. Even women and children joined in the mob. Armed with pistols and rifles, the rioters climbed to the rooftop of the Cornell, shooting inside to force the Chinese out. The ones who fled outside were shot, stabbed, and tortured, then dragged to the makeshift gallows where the hangings took place.
I am so scared hiding in my room. They're searching everywhere on every floor, picking out a hole. I see crowds of white men holding sticks and dragging Chinese men outside. I can't but hear all the screams and shouts,
and wondered how this whole came about. It was just a moment ago.
I was walking back home when this unruly mob chased after me. There is rage in the air and I see not much care to whatever happens to me, except to be hanging by the end of a rope. I must escape this place,
Find somewhere that it's safe,
but can I hide or should I fight?
The next morning, the bodies of the victims were laid out in the jail yard for the public to view. 18 Chinese died that night, which was 10% of the Chinese population. 15 were hanged, and one of them was a teenager, possibly as young as 14. Another victim was believed to have landed in America only a few days before. 3 others were shot, and one of the victims caught up in the mob violence was the well-respected Dr. Jean Tong. Though 500 were in the street participating in the hangings, only 10 men stood trial. Moreover, because of the blatant discrimination laws at the time, only 8 men were convicted of manslaughter, but the charges were ultimately dropped, and the defendants were never retried.
It's so much to be learned from the past.
It all happened here.
We must carry on.
Happened here a long time ago.
We must never forget.
Must never forget this tragedy.
1871, LA